Let's go with names first. Gary Cutler, Garycutler, Hayes County Sheriff.
Good morning, my name is Chase Stapp, Chasestapp, Chief of Police, San Marcos PD.
Good morning, Robert Almonte, Almonte. I'm the United States Marshal for the Western District of Texas.
Jeanette Sefji, Lieutenant, Texas Attorney General's Office, Fugitive Apprehension Unit, SOEFJE.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. We're here to talk about what we've identified as Operation Verify. As you know, there's sex offenders, registered sex offenders are required to be in compliance in their county, and they're required to file the paperwork to be in compliance. Right now in Hayes County, we have 162 registered sex offenders. What we did with Operation Verify, we had 55 officers Tuesday and Wednesday from U.S. Marshal's Office, the Texas Attorney General's Office, the San Marcos Police Department, and the Hayes County Sheriff's Office. They started Tuesday and visited 162 registered sex offenders in the county, not inside the city limits of San Marcos, Butte, or Kyle. And I'll let the chief elaborate on that. Out of that, we made contact with 139 registered sex offenders. And out of those, we found 3 were not in compliance, 20 are still under investigation, and we arrested 1 with 2 arrest warrants pending. And so what we've done on this is we were able to also collect evidence, DNA evidence from 29 of these sex offenders to be sure they're on file with the DNA database up at DPS. So at that time, I want to turn it over to the chief here to talk about what they did to San Marcos. Chief Stapp.
Thank you, Sheriff. First of all, I just want to thank Sheriff Cutler and all of the participating agencies for coming together and doing this as a joint operation. At the San Marcos Police Department, we feel like it's critical that we do these sex offender compliance checks on a yearly basis to keep everybody that is supposed to register honest, so to speak, and make sure that they are registering to help ensure the safety of our community. And so when you come together like this and do it in a big joint operation, it really helps to add to the effectiveness of that. We sought out in the city to be able to verify 63 registered sex offenders that we knew about inside the city limits of San Marcos. We were successful in verifying 56 of those 63. We did visit all 63 locations, but there are 7 folks that we're still trying to make contact with. That doesn't mean that they're not in compliance, it just means we haven't been able to make contact with them yet. We've so far found that all of the sex offenders who are required to register in San Marcos were in compliance, and we're hoping that those remaining 7 are also in compliance. We had, within the city, we had 3 teams of 2 officers each operating within the city, patrol officers, detectives, working together over the 2-day period, and visited again 63 homes. So again, thank you, Sheriff Cutler, Mr. Almonte, and the other, the Attorney General's Office, everybody else that came together and asked us to participate in this. We'll be doing this again next year and in years to come.
Good morning. I want to thank the sheriff and the chief here for allowing the United States Marshals to participate in this very, very important operation, compliance check of registered sex offenders here in our area. We're very proud to participate with several of my deputies assigned to the operation, as well as being able to reach out to U.S. Marshals headquarters and obtain some funding for overtime to assist the local, the sheriff department and the police department in that effort. It's really important that we continue to conduct these types of operations to let these sex offenders know that we're going to stay on their heels and we're not going to let them catch their breath, and we're going to make it as difficult as possible for them to try to commit another sex offense. And I really personally believe that this is the best deterrent, is by going to their house, each one of their homes, and knocking on their doors, and they know that we're keeping tabs on them. And it doesn't get any better, and it doesn't get any more powerful than that when you have law enforcement officers knocking on the door of a sex offender and checking on them. In my previous career, the El Paso Police Department, one of the worst memories I have, the little 5-year-old little girl being abducted, and really wasn't abducted, let out of a Walmart store during the Christmas season. And in reviewing the videos later, seeing that it was actually a registered sex offender walking her out of the Walmart store. And unfortunately, the next morning, I got a call as the deputy chief over crimes against persons and children, responding to the crime scene where her little body was found underneath a carport of a business, naked, plastic bag over her head, sexually assaulted, brutally murdered by this registered sex offender. That's why that when I became the marshal, the top priority as far as the type of people we go after, the worst of the worst, and I don't think they get any worse than a sex offender. Thank you, Sheriff and Chief.
I'd like to finish up like this, is that, let you know that in the units, the Hays County units and out in the unincorporated areas, we have programs in there where we can tell where the registered sex offenders are living within those districts. And our officers from time to time do checks. And so I'd like to just put out a message. I would like to tell the registered sex offenders in Hays County, all across Hays County, I think somewhere around 250, stay within compliance and continue to report, do what you're asked to do and supposed to do. And we will do our job as law enforcement officers across this county to be sure they are in compliance and do checks on them. So this time we'll be glad if you have any questions, we'll take any question to try to answer them for you.
Is this an ongoing effort? Is this something that happens every year? Is this something that you're gonna be doing more than once?
Well, what we'll do on this is, that's gonna be determined by law enforcement. By law, we can do it every day. And like I said, we have officers, the police department has officers to do compliance checks. But if we feel the need to do it here in another 30 days, we can get together and do this again. So that's will be something a call law enforcement will make. Depends on what we're finding out there by our compliance checks.
When was the last time y'all did something like this?
I don't recall this kind of sweep.
A
in-
joint operation? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that, since I've been in office, I'm not aware of one, this type of joint with involving 55 officers in 4 different agencies.
How
So,
long have you been in office?
5.5 years.
5.5 years. And it was 4 different agencies, you said?
4 different agencies involved in this one. And like I said, 55 officers. We want to, like I said, we want to assure the citizens across this county that we're gonna do our job as law enforcement officers to keep them safe from sexual predators and be sure they're staying in compliance.
Were there any surprises during this compliance check?
No, whenever we had, no, not really. You know, we got, like I said, we only had 3 out of 162 that were out of compliance. We have 20 under investigation, like the chief said. We're not saying they weren't in compliance. That's still under investigation. We arrested 1 for non-compliance, and we got warrants pending on 2 others. So that's a pretty high percentage of compliance across Hays County.
Should the community be concerned with those 3 that you couldn't find?
I wouldn't, you know, you always should be concerned, you know, whenever there's a sexual predator out there that hasn't, it's not in compliance, but I don't want to alarm the community by saying it's something, but just there always should be a concern and aware of the surroundings on that. And we're just glad to get the DNA samples, to get them in the database.
And what was kind of the point of getting the DNA samples? Why haven't y'all had those, that kind of thing?
We did, we found these did not have them, and there's probably, I think the lieutenant was telling me, maybe 8,000 across the state of Texas that are on the database that are sexual registered sex offenders, not just here in Hays County. So we went through it and we got samples of ones that we didn't have, so we can be sure they're registered in the database.
So do you feel like you have all DNA from all sex offenders in Hays County now?
I know we're still missing a few, but we'll continue to follow up on that.
What's the cause of the sudden joint venture between all departments? Does this have anything to do with the repeated rape events in Austin?
I wouldn't say it has anything to do with repeated rape. It's something we just need to be doing. We want to keep the community safe and our towns and the county safe, so it's something we just need to be doing. Like I said, don't misunderstand us. We do that. Our officers are doing compliance checks. We just thought it would be time to do a sweep across the county. It took us 2 days to do it. We considered it a very successful sweep.
And those 3 that you guys couldn't find, are you guys still searching for those 3?
Yes, they do. Like I said, well, one of them had outstanding warrant. 2 of them, we got arrest warrants pending. So we will be continuing to look for them.
Those that you found not in compliance, what were some of the things that they weren't doing, and what do y'all do to make sure that they get back into compliance?
Well, we'll do follow-up. Like some of the things they have to do is like report a change of address, or they may not report a change of address, registration of vehicles, and I don't know all the details of how they were out of compliance, but they were out of compliance, so.
So the ones in San Marcos and Hays, those are separate, is the county, in the county, that's 1, and then the ones in San Marcos?
Yes.
Are there any surprises in San Marcos by any chance? San Marcos, sorry.
No, I don't think there were any surprises for us. We generally will find one or two out of compliance when we do these checks. And since we still have 7 that we need to follow up on, there's still a chance we may find someone out of compliance. But I'm pleased that so far, we haven't found anyone out of compliance.
What's the goal here?
The goal is safety and making sure that when you as a citizen get online on that DPS website to see if there's a sex offender in your neighborhood and the website says, you know, this one lives 2 houses down, that is valid and accurate information. That's the goal.
What about Buda and Kyle? I know that they're not here today. Are they doing the same things? They're also in the county.
They, Butte and Kyle, they were not involved in this sweep today. It's not because we didn't contact them. I don't know what the deal was on that, but I'm sure they're doing compliance checks in their cities as well. I feel almost positive they are. But this was just San Marcos PD and us, and we're gonna have the largest percentage of registered sex offenders in the county is gonna be here outside the unincorporated city limits and in the city limits. San Marcos, the biggest areas.
How
As far
about,
as the Texas AG's office, could you answer a question about, just how important is it, for you guys to keep track of all these?
We take this very seriously within our office, and we provide a support role where we're going out and assisting local and state as well as federal officers on the compliance aspect. We're trying to educate with the information that we have learned by state law and other classes we've taken to help assist in the compliance. The recidivism for sex offenders, the numbers are there. There's been several studies. So if we can prevent a sex offender from offending another victim, that is our goal. Protecting the children and the citizens of the state of Texas is our mission.
That's it. We appreciate y'all being here, and thank you very much.